Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Spy Sundays, where we dial in on the options trades that are going to make you some money for the week. Let's get a quick roll call. I know a lot of you are here every week. I appreciate your support, your commitment, and your willingness to learn. I know you're trying to really get into the options trading, make some money, and make this make sense for you. So go ahead and drop your name in the chat. If you're in the Discord, please drop your username. If you're not, type new. We have some free stuff we're going to be giving out by the end of this stream. Possibly even a membership to get the buy and sell alerts live every single day, the free trading education, everything you need to be good at this. We're going to get started here with a couple of charts. I'm just going to give everybody 2 seconds to get on in here. Take your time, but drop a comment, hit a like on the thumbs up button. Just hit it once. It feels nice. Show some support if you've learned anything at all, and you also that way YouTube algorithm shows this to you next time. We've already got 6. I love you guys. I very much so appreciate you. 6 watching, 6 likes. You guys are the best. Feel free to drop a comment. Like I said, if you are in the Discord, you're already familiar with what we do. Drop your username here so we know you're here. We're going to be doing a couple of raffles. We're going to get started. And if you're new, type new in the chat. If you've never seen us before, we'll be giving away some awesome stuff that you definitely want to stick around for to win. As always, we have some very, very interesting charts to dial in on, some very big options trades that are starting to emerge in the market. Looking at some of these daily charts, we might be breaking out bullish here on a number of these names, which means that we're going to have some huge, huge, huge opportunities to make some fat money in the options market. Before we get into what's next, let's do a quick recap on what we already have going here. Our long-term options trades have been absolutely paying. We got a few 100% on Palantir. We got JP Morgan over 100%. Tesla absolutely exploded, you guys. When Tesla was trading at $200, we put out our 240 calls. Tesla has traded up to about, I think it was at the high of day. Let me zoom out here so that I can actually see. I know that our calls were deeply in the money, testing a new high of 252.42, which means those things were up a couple 100% as well. So that, yes, 3, 4, 5 different trades over the last couple months that have yielded us a 400% plus return. We've also been talking about Netflix since it was trading at $200. Huge breakout here. Those calls are up well over 100% too. Equity's almost up 100%. We have our PDD trade, our new one posted in the Discord. Absolutely boomed the other day. These contracts saw a new high. They're holding up well here. I don't even think we're close to done. Those are going to be a long-term big boy, big daddy gain that we're going to see in our portfolios, and it's going to be fantastic. I'm glad you guys are here. What's up, Jay? What's up, Nicole? Justin? We got Tyler Durden, LT, the Maestro, Mr. Josh Johnson. Like I said, if you're in the Discord, drop your Discord username. We're going to start doing some giveaways and raffles like we used to back in the good old days. We got merch, we got swag, we got hats, we got it all. And we're going to be doing some giveaways. Just drop your name in the comments so that we know you're locked in. If you are new here, meaning you've never seen us before, just type new in the chat. You're also going to be thrown into some giveaway pools for some free membership action, which means you're going to have buy and sell alerts daily delivered right to you via text or Discord, whatever you like, whatever you feel. I'm really glad to see you here. Some of you new, some of you returning. We're also going to do a deep dive into the plays that you guys want to see. In a little bit, I'm going to ask you to drop some tickers in the chat, at which point we're going to dive in on those charts and do smash or pass. We're going to take a look at from a long bias at what charts look good and what do not. That way you guys can get a little taste of what we got going on the charting side and also get a better idea for those of you that are in plays. So as always, hit that thumbs up, show some love. That way the YouTube algo knows you like it, and you'll always be notified of every live stream that we do. You can also hit the subscribe button to get that same feature. Personally, if I were you, I'd do both. I'd do a thumbs up. I'd do a subscribe. That way you get it all. Get a little coffee here. We had a charity golf outing today. Hit my best shot of my entire life on a par 3 within like probably 6 inches of the pin, one closest to the pin. I'm very excited about that. But for those of you that know golf, it's a brutal game of highs and lows. You feel on top of the world, and the next moment, you feel absolutely empty. It's humbling. I very much so enjoy it for that feature. All right, I think we got enough. We got a good amount of y'all here. So, there we go. Come on, two more. Let me get two more of those thumbs up. We got 20 something of you in here. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't hit it yet. If you've already hit it, whoa, don't touch it again because it'll take it away. We don't want it to take it away now. Feel free to drop a comment with your Discord username. If you're new, please type new. We're going to be giving some stuff away. Sorry, just making sure that the link was posted everywhere so that nobody misses it. Give me just one second. Events and updates. I just want to let everybody know, because I know a lot of you look forward to this to really set up your options trades for the week. Bada bang. Woo! Oh, all right. There we go. We're filling it in. Jay Patel, new to live. What's up, baby? How you living? I'm glad you're here, my friend. We are going to really get into it. What's up, Kev? How you living? All right, there we go. Now the notifications went out. Come on, clap that thumbs up, baby. Come on now. We got 28, 30 people in here. Hit that thumbs up. Hit it once. It feels good. It feels really good, actually. Tells YouTube algorithm we're doing a good job. Tells you guys tells us, hey, you like what we're putting out there. But more importantly, it ensures that you will see all future content and live streams. Oops, somebody accidentally hit it twice because one just got taken away. There you go. God, I love you guys. How could I love you anymore? I couldn't. That's the answer. I couldn't possibly. All right. So we got a lot of you here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's make this chart just a little bit bigger. Beautiful. Oh, 35 now. So we've got our Webull pulled up here. We got three charts we're looking at. Would you guys prefer the one chart view or do you like the three chart? You tell me. One chart. That makes more sense. That way we can focus, dive in, and be all in on one deal. Right. There we go. One chart. There we go. I like that. That was a good call. Thanks. Unbelievable. So let's start with Teslonius Jackson. I know a lot of you are trading this one. Really quick check-in for those of you that are here in the comments. How many of you took that Tesla call spread that was put out? I put it in the option swing channel. I believe it was about a week ago, right before it boomed. It was trading at about $200, 210 max. How many of you took that trade? Anybody get it? Who got it? Who made that bread? Come on now. You do need to take the spreads class. And for those of you that have been missing out on the lifetime membership, the Swinging Bull has been doing a deep dive into both simple and complex option spread strategies for passive income. The man brings in 100 grand a year, passive income options. Unbelievable. He's the wizard. He's been going live every Wednesday for 3 hours with the Lifetime Squad. If you're not in there, make sure you ask about it in Discord. Feel free to hit me up. It saves you money if you're committed. You get access to everything. And by everything, I mean everything, including the master classes, which options price target masterclass, day trading masterclass, option spreads masterclass, which is basically the secret sauce to everything we do, so that there is no stone left unturned. You are not behind any curtain. You have access to it all. And not to mention Mr. Stock Lock Profit's portfolio balancing deal he does in there, where he puts his exact buys, when he's buying them, how much of his percentage of his portfolio, exactly how much he's up, entries, exits, and deep analysis. That guy writes up like a champ. Nobody got Tesla, unfortunate. There we go. Rags be getting in there. The Devastator be getting in there. I love that. Oh man, my nose is stuffed. I have allergies. No bueno. All right, so put this up here so everybody knows what chart we're looking at. So we're taking a quick look at Tesla. I did take profit off the high on our Spreads play. As you can see, remember we were watching this a couple of weeks ago. We were looking at this little consolidation channel here, which I say is pretty trustworthy considering it was a pretty functional support, and it was the area we hit our head on before the inevitable breakout that ripped and found a new high for Tesla. So what that means is that this is going to be a pretty critical resistance that is going to be difficult to break, and I don't think we're going to break it in the first rip. I would love to see Tesla come down here, consolidate above 229, at which point then, like I said before, I'll be posting that alert and premium, so make sure you're in there so that you can get it. I'm going to be looking at some leaps and some shorter term spreads that we're going to trade as this thing potentially goes back up to 284. On the worst case, it comes back down to 200 bucks. And again, we'd look for some consolidation. I will be posting that alert in there. Make sure you watch those channels and make sure you have notifications turned on so that you do not miss those. If anyone needs help turning off certain notifications but leaving some on, please just go ahead in Discord right now and go to that support channel. It looks just like this. And please just open a ticket and we will walk you through exactly how to do that. I want to make sure that it's easy to do and you guys understand. So for Tesla here, again, we sold peak at rejection here. That's why you saw that alert go out when we hit about 250. I said, I'm out. I'm done. I'm taking profit for now. That was the smart play. And as you can see, it got rejected, came down and closed at like 244. I really think that we're going to see this come down to about 235 and test this high right here and see if this turns over as support. Again, to look at in the short term, we do have a functional trend right here. So we have room to come down before we inevitably head back up to 250. What we want to be doing is watching and buying on these short-term sell-off consolidation support bounces that we're very likely to see here given the extreme expansion of price. RSI at 85 on the daily. Take a second with that. 85. The weekly still tuned up, still looking good. Again, we are looking for support to hold. We're going to look to buy and add these positions around 230, 240. We're going to be posting that in Discord. Again, when we're trading live tomorrow, we're also going to be taking a deep dive looking at it. So again, if you are not in the premium section, you will see a link scroll across the bottom so that you can get immediate access. I highly suggest doing that if you like being walked through every trade with your entry, sell targets, risk management, chart, and notes of why it's a good play or why it's not a good play. So nevertheless, that's Tesla. We have a little bit of time here. As I said, we sold at max profit about 250, and we are going to come back in off support and take a new position at a pivot point where we have minimal risk. We can cut it early. If the trend turns over, we can cut it quick for minimal loss. If we're right, which we probably will be, we are buying at the absolute bottom. Boom, we make some money. Bada bing, it's done. This is a pretty significant consolidation channel here. Again, we're looking at the weekly chart. If you can, you can't see because it's hidden, but we're looking at the weekly chart here. We bounced up and down from 250 to about 209, 210, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks before we finally pressed up. I would love to see that kind of consolidation here. The previous time we consolidated through here, as you can see right as I'm highlighting with the cursor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Pretty much 18 out of 25 weeks we sat in the same consolidation channel. So this is pretty significant support at 190, 200. We need to be very mindful of that and understand that price is probably going to continue to consolidate there. We want to see this volume continue. As I said before, we've seen two big moves in the last couple of weeks, and they both came with roaring, firing volume. That's why we were able to take 300-400% on our last Tesla play, and it's why we're going to take 300-400% on the next one, more than likely, as long as the play pans out. RSI at 64, not yet completely overbought. I'd like to see this push back up to about 85 as we saw off the high here, and I think we're going to do that as we push up to 300 plus. Not yet is not the time to take that position yet. In my opinion, I'm going to wait, be mindful, be careful, take the smart entry at the right time in the right position so that we can take maximum advantage of the run up that is bound to happen if Tesla chart continues to hold up the way that it is now. So please, please, please be careful, take time. Let me see if I can give me 1 second. Let me see if I can fix this to make it a little cleaner. I thought we would be able to edit stream quality, but I guess not. Are you guys able to see these prices or no? Is it a little too blurry? If it's too blurry, just let me know and I will highlight them for you. I know they're hard to see because it's compressed, but yeah, I'll make sure to continue calling those out. So yeah, Ro, to your point. Oh, that's that. I meant to say rags. Yeah, so we're going to be posting all that in the Discord. Once I see a support confirmation, I'm going to close that short leg out and we can continue to ride the long. It's the best way to trade. You want to make basically the goal is, again, the short is shorter term, right? Closer expiration. So it'll decay a lot quicker on downward price expression. So that means that we're going to make money faster on that one as price comes down. The long will drop in value, but again, it's easily it's 100% compensated for because of the short, right? We will inevitably we have an additional cushion, but we also will end up making more money as long as the short comes down. We buy that back on support, boom, the long goes. We basically made, say, 20-30% on the way down. You can even add to the long at that point if you'd like to, but as it goes back up, even if that long hits 0% net break even, you still made 30%, right? So it gives you that additional cushion for stop loss in the case that the price just decays very quickly. And I think there's going to be some short-term downside, so we're trying to capitalize on that. Should we not see it, then we need to close that immediately because we don't want that thing running in the money. Again, is a statistically significant advantage we have on that call specifically, not being in the money. So short of extreme market pressure, the odds are in our favor at about 82%, right? So 82% tip to our side of benefit. So there is about that 18% margin where we could be wrong, but I think we nailed it. I think we absolutely nailed it. And so since we're talking Tesla, let's talk SPY too, because kind of one and the same. Basically, S&P has become tech. So as we detailed in all of our live streams over the last, I don't know how many months, you guys, we have absolutely nailed this SPY chart. I didn't just draw these lines on here, right? We identified each of these ranges as the SPY traded, and you can see that we nailed our TA because it followed these ranges to the T. We talked about, remember, this red line right here was our longer term, very, very significant resistance. What happened? Again, we're on the weekly chart. SPY broke out, came down, support test on that resistance, meaning that resistance turned over to support. That's a great sign. Then it climbed another additional range, came down, tested support just above 425, and found a new high at about 431. So remember, that is our very significant point of resistance. SPY is going to have a very tough time breaking through 430s, okay? If it does, we know that we're going to see ideally a couple of weeks of bull market. If the SPY can break 430, that's a very favorable sign, right? Volume is okay. RSI 64, so not yet too overbought. Remember, we want to see this pushing above 70 or so. And once it does, we're going to see this thing probably rip to about 455 if it breaks 430, right? So what I wanted to see was a break of this resistance. I want a support confirmation on the weekly, meaning I would love to see price come down, touch this line, and reject, at which point that's when I'll be posting the alert again. If you're in the Discord, you'll be getting it delivered right to you. We want to see, we got the breakout. Now we want the breakout confirmation, which is price coming down, support test, and a hold, right? We've got a support test here and a hold. Then we found new high. Sellers came in, and this thing's getting a little bit overbought. We have to see we have to see confirmation before we take a larger position, which is exactly what I want to do because I think this is going to be a fantastic play. Any questions? Any questions? If you're following along, just type yes. If you're not, just type no. So that way I know if we could slow it down, dial it back. I want to make sure you guys are able to understand what we're talking about. If I'm not explaining it simply enough, if I'm not explaining it correctly, even, I just want to make sure that you guys are able to follow along with everything we're doing so that you're getting max value out of this. That's the goal here. This is for you. This whole hour is for you guys because I love you. Oh, quick question. Quick pause. How would you guys feel about moving this to Monday? Would everyone be good with that? If we move this to a Monday night special, Monday Night Raw. Because I had an idea. I started thinking about Mondays, right? And so we have our live trading on Monday, but I just have a feeling that seeing that first day of the week open gives us it gives us more information and a better picture for the remainder of the week, even more so than Friday does. So I was thinking about it in my head and I was like, I feel like doing this after Monday's close would give us a lot more information because weeks typically tend to follow their beginning short of huge news, war, etc. So I like the idea of watching that day pan out and getting at least a very clear picture on how the week is starting out so that I just think we'll have more information to make a more informed decision and we'll find better trades as a result rather than weekend, 2 days past, market could have totally changed over the weekend, huge news, whatever. I feel like less changes from Monday to Tuesday than it does from Friday to Monday, if that makes sense for you. Also, my wife would not be unhappy about that. She gets really pissed. I'm leaving every Sunday. Every day. Yeah, that would be nice, baby. I miss those days, man. COVID lockdown. We just had my daughter and my wife was just hanging out with her. My kid was doing virtual school. We were just trading the day away. Yeah, it's not official yet. I got to run through everybody on the team, make sure schedules work out. But I started thinking about it and I was like, I feel like we'd have a better idea of how the week's going to play if we have more information. That pivotal first day of the week that kind of sets the stage for the remaining 4 days. I think there will be more benefit there because that was originally the idea: Sunday plan, and then Monday we kind of dissect while we live trade. But I realized we want to see the close. We want to watch it go all the way through, and really then have it pan out. So. Okay, cool. I appreciate you. Appreciate y'all. I just want to make sure that we're taking max advantage of the time that we have and that we're getting the best result out of that time spent together. So again, we talked about this very pivotal resistance. We've been talking about this since back in January. So huge move here. Again, we want to see support confirmation, which means we want to see price come back down and test this and turn it over to support, right? We want to see that confirmation. Last time we moved from this area, though, if you guys pay attention right here on the 9th of March, the Ides of March, we went from about 407 to 453. This $50 move is kind of what I'm expecting. Should we get a confirmation test here? What I'm waiting for is that confirmation test to say, hey, this is support. And then we're going to start taking aim right here at this with bull put spreads and obviously call debit spreads and a few naked calls to take maximum advantage and to make sure everybody's making a good bit of money. I think we're going to make a fat bit of money on this. I think it's going to be a phenomenal play. Again, if you're not in the Discord, I'll put the link at the bottom. Make sure you sign up and get in there. Tons of free watch list, free content, free education materials. And then on the premium side, you get access to the daily alerts, entry, sell targets, live analysis. We're live trading. We're doing it all. The link is at the bottom. If you want to go ahead and get it, you can just go to pbalerts.com, jump in. So that's what we're going to wait for on the SPY. We want that support confirmation, and then we're going to look at some bullish positions. Someone asked put time. I don't think so. I don't like the idea of taking bear stance. If we're waiting for this to turn over to support, that means we have a very marginal opportunity for gain from a swing perspective. So just for me personally, the risk reward isn't there. Now, as an intraday trade, sure, sounds good. But I don't like it in terms of a swing perspective. That's the goal of the stream, is to find obviously option swings that'll pay out over a number of months so that we can make a lot of money, or at least a number of weeks, and pay out handsomely. If you guys haven't yet, please, if you're following us on YouTube, hit that thumbs up to tell YouTube you like it. It also makes sure that you will not miss a single stream in the future. You will be notified. You hit that thumbs up, and then click subscribe, and you will get access to even more material, even more content. We are doing some free live streams, some free trading education. We're going to do them live with no announcement for those of you that don't follow us already. So make sure you hit subscribe and make sure you hit that thumbs up to show us that you like what we're doing so that we can keep on going. Pull this up here. Let me log in. And we're going to take a look at some spreads, some spread opportunities. One of the first that I am looking at, Costco. We talked about this one quite a bit. Remember, we were mapping this out. Look at that wedge right there. Kaboom. And this thing breaks out. I am currently still looking at either 550 or 545 calls. This is a pretty big opportunity here. With a few of them I'm looking at. One of them in particular is extremely underpriced. It's a little bit of a risky strategy, but I do think that there is opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up so I can see the price. All right, just 1 second. I don't know what it's currently trading at. I didn't look at it on Friday. Let's take a look. And again, these alerts will be posted, every single one of them, in Discord. If you're not in there yet, make sure you get in there. Applied volatility is so low on these. It's crazy. IV's down at like 15%. So what we have to do then is look at puts within the same range to see which is higher. Extremely low vol, so not much volatility is expected. I think this thing breaking out kind of did the job, but there's one Costco trade I'm looking at. Again, we'll be posting in the Discord when it's time, when it's ready, when it looks good. We've been talking a lot about Palantir. This was one of our better trades that we've taken in a while. We alerted this as a buy at 750. This thing pushed all the way to 17 bucks, over 100% ROI. It has touched down off support. We do not want to see it come much lower than 1470. Ideally, we'd love to see it sit right above 15 for continuation. Support, as you can see here, we're going to zoom in a little bit and make it a little bigger. As you guys can see here, support has turned over to resistance at the current moment, which is not great, right? So we are trending on support here. It turned over right about here and is now trading as resistance. We want these EMAs to function as support. So again, we don't want to see price come down much lower than 1450. Otherwise, we might see some price depression back down to about 12 bucks, which we don't want to see because we still have some long-term positions active. Again, my debit spread that we have open is hedged. I do have the short on there. I just created a vertical debit spread. I sold the strike exactly above the one we bought for the same expiration. If you're in premium, you've had those alerts, you know what I'm talking about. Really, really phenomenal play. I think we took about 300% all in, and we were talking about the butterfly spreads to create more opportunity in the short term. When we do have a position that's hedged well, we want to still capture that volatility. So nevertheless, as you guys remember, we talked about this being a nice liquidity zone here where price was going to move quickly. And even more so exciting about this is our next one, 15 to 21. That's the next zone I hope to see eclipse. Again, we had almost the same springboard point right here. Look at how similar that is. Push up, come down, spring, boom. We had the same thing occur here, which is why this move was just so predictable. Push up, come down, springboard, boom. This move was so predictable. If you know what you're doing, guys, in which a lot of you do and some of you will in time, moves like this become very easy to see. And my goal is to teach you guys a secret sauce so that you can identify them on your own and take maximum advantage of them. Again, this play turned 100 bucks into 500, 1,000 into 5,000. It turned 10,000 into 50 grand, depending on how much you put into it. Me personally, I think I put about 2 grand in there. So it turned it all in into about 8,000 or give or take, up about 350% and now hedged. So my goal is to make money on the short-term downside before I think realistically we just start ripping again and hopefully retest, as we said, this zone here, 26.86. I have marked there as resistance. So phenomenal play, guys. For those of you that weren't in it, this play really panned out for, and what I love most about this is that it panned out for equities. So if you don't trade options, you still made over 100%. You made a killing. planned out for. Long-term options traders, those leaps are up like 300%. Short-term options traders, right? Those butterflies that we hedged ran also 200-300%. And the day trade the other day ran quite a bit as well. I know that one went extremely quick. That really sucked. I'm sorry. By the time I'd put it out, it just started going. I was only able to get one filled, one or two filled. I wanted to do like 10. Didn't pan out. So to update you on a few of our current plays that we are already in that are shaping up very nicely. First one, PDD. If you're unsure, please go to the Option Leaps channel. The alert is posted there. If you missed it, it's okay. There will be more. This chart is really shaping up. This is the daily we have pulled up here. So RSI is curling, and starting to explode upward, only at 63. We still have room for this to continue to go up. We talked about this channel between 72 and 99 being our kind of our trend channel that we hope to see price move through. Again, it's done it before, came back down to about here, 74 bucks, pushed up to 111. These calls will likely run 100 to 200%. They're already up about 70 the other day. But this is something that I expect to be a pretty decent banger. I think we should make a good bit of money off this one. But the chart's looking good. We're going to see some resistance around 83 bucks, but once we move there, I'm really not concerned. These will be up so much it won't matter. Again, being already up 70%, we're already sitting pretty. We bought right before this explosion here, trading up to about 70, 78, which will function as resistance until we break to 79 and then again 83. So if you're in this trade, watch those levels. So 79 and then 83. We want to say break above 79 and then continue to 83, at which point add the short. If you're confused how to do that, please ask in the Discord or just take profit on the position. Phenomenal trade. We absolutely nailed it. Got it right before it boomed. Next up, BABA. We also bought this one right before it started pushing up pretty strong here. This trade was up 20-30%, I believe, maybe slightly less, but something close to there. We also bought equities on this. I think, what do we buy at? Like the high 70s, something like that. I know Lee was buying this like down 60s, but my alert at least was like high 70s. They're still holding on to that after it ran to 104, took a nice 20-30%, still holding some of that position. We have a pretty firm resistance here at about 87.88, 87.80. We need to break above, as you saw back here, right? We saw a nice gap up, pushing to 93, and then it sold off. I don't want to see gap up. I just want to see a nice, strong intraday move like we saw here back on 11/30 of 22. Nice push to 89, closed below, but then pushed up again and closed above. We want to see price on the daily. We want to see a daily candle close above 88 bucks, and we'll be sitting pretty. The weekly chart, in my opinion, even better. RSI bottoming out here, double bottom on the RSI and price. So again, we've got some divergence here. We do not have a new low in price, so that's a good sign. And RSI is picking up here very well. Our next big hurdle is going to be 135, 140 bucks. But again, that's longer term. First things first, we need to break above 100. Very important psychological resistance. Oh my God, I had the wrong one up there. Yep. Wish somebody could just pop these on here. It was a little more apparent to see. Sorry, this is Baba. My bad. So that $100 mark is always a pretty important mental resistance for people to break over and get over. We're trading below the EMAs on the weekly, but I'm looking for a cross up here. Again, the daily's already turned over, already above those EMAs. We want to see them continue to cross up. I think we have room to upside to 90. They should see a nice profit on them until we inevitably test resistance at about 93. And then, as you can see, this big line here is our long-term trending resistance that we really need to break over. I think this is the last point in the journey. Again, we talked about this inverted head and shoulders here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. This would be our springboard point, which means we bought at the absolute perfect time. Or, here's the best part, if this breaks down here, we take minimal loss, we move on, and we go on to the next one. But again, this trade is already up decently, and I don't think that this is I just don't think it's going to, it doesn't seem like it's going to sell off here. So the 8 crossed over the 13, so it's a good indication of short-term strength. RSI is coiling a little bit here. We need to see it over 88 and then test 93, and then we'll have a really good idea of just how far this is going to run. All right, it is now. Oh, which one? Palantir? Man put doors on the pool house from trading. Come on now. I love that, man. I'm very happy for you. That's a wonderful thing. Congratulations, my friend. So now's your time. Drop your tickers in the chat. We're going to go through the stocks that you want to see and do smash or pass on the stocks that you are wondering about. Again, this is long bias. We're talking about a simple, straightforward answer of yes, I'd take this long, or no, I would not. So I want you guys to drop those tickers in the chat, and I'll return to you in just 10 seconds or so. Drop the tickers in the chat, and we'll go through them. All right. Sorry to grab a drink. I'm dying. As I said, drop those tickers in the chat, and we are going to play a game of smash or pass. Is Duck here? We need some sort of theme song or production value here for smash or pass. I think it could be a wonderful segment. Boom. Now we got a banner at least. Bada bing. All right. You guys got them in? You good? Is that all of them? Drop them here. Drop that ticker in the chat. I'm willing to look at any chart you want to see. You just got to type it in the chat here. Type it. Drop a comment. And while we wait for those to flood in, again, there's like 40-something people here. Please show some love. Hit that thumbs up. Tell YouTube we're doing a good job. Tell us we're doing a good job. By getting your feedback, we can better cater this stream to take care of you week in, week out, so that you make money. So in theory, you hitting thumbs up on this video is making you more money because it's telling us that we're delivering to you on the charts, on the trades, and everything else. So hit that thumbs up to make you some money this week. And make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the live trading sessions or pop-ups that happen throughout the week. All right. Path it is. Number one, path. Smash O pass. So, again, the goal for this is to be very quick and just rip through them. On the weekly, we have a lot of room here. This is something that I am holding in my long-term portfolio. I think it is a good company that has gotten absolutely beaten to death. I do think that this is the last time, ideally, hopefully, that we're going to see 10 or 11 bucks. Institutional interest through the roof here. This is a quality company. This is not a little small cap, hit or miss, micro cap ticker. This is a quality software and infrastructure company that is trading slightly above what it should be, in my opinion, in terms of PE, but we're trading on future value. There's over 60% institutional interest in this company specifically, with price targets ranging from 25 bucks all the way up to 40, unless it got downgraded. But I do believe they were back at 40. Let me look really quick. Canaccord Genuity. I just met those guys. this weekend. That's pretty cool. I just met an advisor from that firm. They have it as a buy, aiming for $20. So again, we're still trading at about 30% down from those price targets. Oppenheimer had it at outperformed downgrade. Morgan Stanley downgraded to equal weight, price target of 15. But why did they have a price target of 32 just back in September? Something has changed. However, I still think that this is a quality company that we're going to see some upside here. We're playing smash or pass. We're looking at this with a long bias only. Right off the bat, I would say new high this week. That's good. Sellers came in. RSI is perfectly tuned. This is curling on the weekly. Curling, 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 and I like it. I think there's a lot of upside here. I would say that this is definitely a smash. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a smash because the chart looks good. I think that right now we're not best positioned in this specific industry to buy long and sit and wait and hold. But what better time than now, because this thing is absolutely sold off. So I'm going to go ahead and say smash, baby. Smash, smash, smash. Because we have a lot of upside to fill this gap back up to 4160. As we talked about before, when price de-escalates so quickly, as it did here, just absolute sell-off, it gives us room to run through that area quickly when we see it back on upside. The daily has already turned over bullish, trading above this 200-day EMA. If this 200-day EMA holds, which it typically does, hold as support and resistance, right? It's a pretty functional pivot point for any stock from a long-term perspective to take either long position, short position. Right now, I would say that this is sitting at a pretty critical point where if it can stay above 1650, this thing is bullish, and I would be aiming for at least 31. So that's almost 100% upside from here. Huge gap here. If we zoom in right here, we can see massive gap from the last time we saw a post-earnings sell-off, which means that if we hit that part again, so if we break above $23, this thing could absolutely rip and roar to fill this gap up to 29. Remember, these charts, anytime you see gaps like that, just remember that it wants to fill that gap. It craves it. It yearns for it deeply, psychologically, metaphorically, primordially. It yearns for it. We hold above 1650. This thing is definitely a smash. We have a long-term consolidation area right here, just above 1779. We want to see this stock bounce between about $18 and 22 and consolidate. That would build a nice little support for Dad to rest his head at night and rest assured that this thing is going to break back out and absolutely rip at least until we hit $40. Looking at the monthly, I would say that there's even more room, but again, 33 on the 34-day. I would just kind of sit still and think about, wow, so oversold. It's like at zero. That's kind of unbelievable. Sell side has just been ridiculous. So somebody took a lot of profit on the IPO, a lot. So path is going to get a smash. I like this here. The yellow line is the 200-day EMA. Yes, it is. I think that this is a great opportunity to go long in your long-term portfolio. This is a buy and hold for me. I'm sitting there holding it, not messing with it, not really worrying about price targets. I'm looking for long-term appreciation. To me, this is a value buy. They're building software that will support the infrastructure of the internet, which, again, the internet infrastructure kind of is the new infrastructure for life, as most businesses conducted online. At the very least, a lot of it is. This thing has somewhat of a short interest here at about 10%, which is interesting, but it's not enough to tell a story that would lead me to believe this thing's going to absolutely squeeze. But what I will tell you is that the institutional interest continues to pick up. This thing gets to about 80-90% institutional interest. I think this thing is gonna consolidate for quite a while because they're going to need to accumulate. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll beat the price down. Right? Well, because they want to accumulate those lows. They don't want the price to go crazy. They can't buy all at once because that'll just tip the market. They have to buy in slowly, and they want the best price. Of course they do. So a lot of times they'll hold stock price down through a number of middlemen, banks, whoever they have to use and leverage to get their result, they'll get it. You can always count on that. So next up, we've got Zomathan. Smash or pass? Let's take a look at Zom. Woo! So it did hold up. So remember, a few weeks ago, we talked about this little wedge right here that this needed to fill up as our support consolidation channel, right? So we came down and tested this before at about 82 bucks. We immediately ripped back up and continued running. In this recent sell-off, which picked up in volume a little bit, as you can see right here on the mid-March, saw a little bit more in January, and then we saw a little bit more, but it is coming down in May. RSI is hopefully bottoming out here, and if it does, this might be an incredible time to take a position. Again, I like this little channel right here, but I like it a hell of a lot more if we can see price break up above this and turn this over to support. So this line that we're highlighting here, make it a little bit thicker, it is now functioning as resistance, and the line below it as support. What we want to do is we want to see this hold the support, then we want to see price break up and come down and test this as support as well, right about here. So I'm going to draw it out for you so you know what I mean. Once again, we talked about how do you know when a breakout's a breakout and not a fake out? Well, you see price come up, and then you see a test, and then you see a new high. That's how you know it is broken out. Push up, support test, new high. That is a confirmed breakout, my friends. Buyers are liking it here. However, this chart has run so much in such a short period of time. Be very mindful. It's down at 25 back in 2020, right? So it traded up to 118 bucks. Quite a bit of appreciation, wouldn't you say? And I would say that we haven't really seen any large-scale selling other than right here. And I don't think we're going to see more unless we break below this trend line here and we come back down and find support around 82 bucks. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't think that's going to happen. But again, this to me is looking more like a double top than this being a new high. Again, it traded down, gapped back up, came down, had to fill that gap back down. We have pretty strong buyers coming in at 85. Let's wait and see if this comes down, or let's wait and see if this breaks out and then he gives us a nice little support test that we can rest our head on. RSI never really exploded over these moves, right? So again, if we're taking a longer term approach to make a lot of money, we want to see RSI pushing up to 80, which we did when it bumped to 101 and then completely sold off. We got to see RSI above. So I would say 47, 46, 47. RSI doesn't go below that. We should be fine. As you can see, the RSI functions, like I said, similar to price, right? So when we look at these consolidation channels, right, when we identify these on a chart, let's just do this one as an example, right? So when we identify these consolidation zones, this is what's important, right? We have our zone here. So like, look at this as each side of the sidewalk. And like I said, it's walking a dog on a leash, and it just crosses that midline over and over from side to side. Those of you that have walked a dog, you know what they do is walk from side to side to side to side to side. That's what price is doing, right? Which means we don't want to buy until we're either at one of these lines. Either we're buying long here for a move up, or we're going short here for a move down, right? Alternatively, calls here, puts here, because it's the safest bet, because these are the pivot points, right? So if price continues to break up here, and again, I'll draw it just so it's easier. So like if price is bouncing up and down, right? When price is right here, a put that breaks through makes a lot of money, right? And so it's an easy trade to take, because if this holds this support, you know the put's dead and we need to get out of the position. Alternatively, if the price is running and bumps against resistance, right, and we go puts here, we can also make money all the way back down to support. To the upside, we can buy long right here and then sell as we hit resistance, or testing breakout, support test, we buy here, and then we trade the next leg up as long as we reach that new high. Here's why it matters. Let me highlight all the places we were talking about buying there, because that is a pretty important element here. We're going to highlight all the places we talked about buying. Right there. It's supposed to stay in drawing mode. We talked about a buy right here. 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 We talked about a buy right here. What is important about buying here, 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 here? What's the one rule I always bring up? Don't buy where? Where do you not want to buy? Fill in the blank. Don't buy blank. when you are in what is this area in between these wonderful lines here? And why do we not want to buy here? There it is. My man, do not buy in Purgatory. You don't want to do it because it will beat you more than it will make you money. And why would you want to get beat by something that's supposed to be making you money? You wouldn't, so you don't. So we don't do it. So again, we're on XOM, not Pass. Excuse me. There we go. So again, these points are so important because if we buy calls here, right, and it breaks out, we win, right? If we buy calls here and it gets rejected, we have a pivot point right by our buy that we can quickly close the position, get out of it for minimal risk. If we buy calls here and it breaks support, instantly close the position for minimal risk versus if it holds here, we know it's going to probably climb to at least 67 and test resistance, which means we have maximized our opportunity for profit and minimized our risk for loss. Essential part to options trading. If you can't do that, you're not going to last very long. You always want to be buying. If you'll notice, every single one of my trades occurs at one of those pivot points. Why? Because it is very, very easy to define risk at those areas. And more importantly, it's easy to do it and also identify trend. You can manage risk on a trade anywhere in the chart, right? But here's the difference. If you can't identify your maximum profit, minimum risk opportunity, you're never going to be able to consistently predict your own results, right? And I also want to maximize profit. If I'm putting my money out to work, that means it's not going to work somewhere else. So why would I throw a bunch of money in a trade that could offer me 3% return for 5% risk, meaning I could lose 2% to the downside, versus a trade that is a possibility of losing 2%, but a possibility of gaining 10, right? In that case, I would be risking losing $2, but I would be making $8. Very important. So for every $1 I risk, I'm making $4. Does that make sense? When we take those trades in Purgatory, the risk reward is never, it's not in our favor. And the whole thing is like, why would you not want to take a trade that's already going in your favor? This doesn't make sense. Next up, ROKU. Interesting one of my favorite plays. We played one up with a 150 puts at this double top. They ran like something like 10. I sold at a couple 100%. They were up like 10,000% as this thing just cascaded down. So ROKU saw a lot of buyers this last week. This chart is actually quite interesting to me, pushing up to 69. If ROKU holds above 71, I'm going to give it smash status. If it does not, it's a hard pass. Why? Because we found support here at about $60 before this huge run up into COVID. I would argue that there were a lot of buyers right here, which makes this a pretty substantial area to hold. If it can hold there with the low of about 40 coming up to new support touch 51, if it can hold if it can hold up above 69, 70 bucks, let me make this a little better. Yeah, if it can hold above 69 bucks, it's also a breakout in the daily. I'm more focused on the weekly with this one. RSI is phenomenal. It's not yet even close to overbought, which means there's huge upside here to 100 and 130. I'm going to give ROKU an absolute smash because this chart just falls to me. I love it. I love ROKU personally as a brand. I don't know how they're going to maintain a competitive edge as companies continue to build basically ROKUs into their TVs internally. But I'm not too certain on what their ad revenues. I think there's just a number of channels that ROKU can expand to. But again, we're just talking chart here, and chart is telling us that buyers are coming in right here. If buyers can push above 76, then we have an opportunity to definitely go to 98, 100 bucks because that's our next significant resistance. So to map this out for you, and as I said, screenshot, save this stream, make sure you have these on your chart so that you know exactly what to do when the time comes. We have a significant resistance at 98 bucks, but that means that this is the bottom of our channel here at 56. If we push up, we're going to test 98 bucks. If we break 98, then we're definitely going to 128. That's our 200-day EMA, and that would be very difficult to break over. So 100% upside on equity if it holds right here. Again, we want to see it hold above 69.70. Ideally, just call it 70 bucks, make it simpler to understand. If it holds, it gets a firm smash. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have to say hard pass. But for now, we're giving it the smash status because that chart just looks too good to turn down. All right. So Kehinde, I'm going to do one of yours, and then I'm going to move on. The Devastator, COYA. Ooh, new IPO. Interesting. Weekly chart looks daily chart looks good too. Very significant, huge run up to $8. This chart looks very interesting. So I would say bullish. I wouldn't buy here because I think there's a lot of risk. We need to see it turn over $5 or come back down and hold support at 479. But if it holds above $5 here, I think this one could be an absolute smash, especially with volume. This thing can absolutely rip. I'm assuming it's an extremely low float. I'm going to have to go ahead and give this one a smash. And by smash, I do not mean buy. I just mean the chart looks good and a long position is emerging, right? Doesn't mean right now, doesn't mean tomorrow. It just means that the chart looks good and it is emerging. COYA Smash. That's an interesting one. I would say that this weekly chart looks even better, right? Pretty significant buyers. Nothing like we saw here in this run up to $8. Let's go in the hourly. Let's try to get an idea of what the hell happened here. Oh, that was like one candle. So this thing must have an extremely low float. So be very careful trading this one. It looks like it can absolutely boom and then sell off. But the hourly chart also looks good. So daily, weekly, hourly all look good. Definitely bullish opportunity here. Should this thing get some volume, that's going to be a pass. Or smash. Sorry, I forgot I still had the chart small. Next up is Jason. What's up, baby? BE or VZ? Which one? I'm going to do Verizon because I think BE was an accident. I think it was a typo. Jason Smith, Mr. Options. Verizon's core business is worrisome. So from a fundamentals perspective, I'm not a big fan of Verizon right now. I don't know if this was banks buying, but somebody was loading the boat around 34, 35. You got a nice double bottom set up there. It does look actually pretty crisp. That's the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly. The weekly is what worries me. Again, double bottom, but I would say if it holds above $33, it should be fine. But the downside here is looking quite probable. Again, this thing doesn't move all that much, but I guess I can't really say all that much. But what I can tell you is I'm not a big fan of Verizon's core business right now. And I would just be very hesitant with this one with the long position just because. Can't tell you more than that, but I can tell you that. I'm going to go ahead and say Verizon Hard Pass. Hey, when you go on Tinder, which one is saying yeah and which one's saying no? Swipe left, good. Swipe right is bad. Is swipe left yes, or is it swipe right? And also we need that. We need someone to we need the production value here of swipes, right? Make the chart look sexy. Come on, some of you have been on Tinder. Don't act like you don't know. Is swipe left good or bad? Which one is saying yes? That's the question I have for you. Left is no. So that would be a swipe left on Verizon. Sorry, Verizon. Hard pass. No thanks. I hope you hold up, but I know buyers are coming in, but I just don't like it, and I can't really tell you why. All right, next up. Casey Page, PayPal. Interesting chart, interesting company. I do like the landscape here. I think PayPal does have some long-term value, but this weekly chart is abysmal. I can tell you very quickly because I've looked at this chart 1,000 times. Hard pass, swipe left, PayPal, no thanks, bye-bye. Not looking good. PayPal is struggling here. We got to see a turnaround before I start looking at this one with a long bias. Unfortunately, UPST, very interesting one. I like this. Remember we talked about that breakout over $9, or was it 1030? Sorry, it was like 1030. This thing is absolutely ripped. Wait, what? Oh my God. Well, thank God, because I still have a lot of this long. As I've told you many times, I was down like 70%. So that's good. We talked about that breakout right there. Remember, we were talking like above 13 bucks. Why didn't I buy this? Why didn't I buy more? And why didn't I take an options trade here? I'm disappointed in myself. I failed myself and I failed you. And I'm very disappointed in that. And I'm sorry. And I will do better. On the weekly, this thing looks absolutely appetizing. Buyers are just gobbling this up. I think there's tons of upside here. I would say that the next significant point here is going to be like 49.50 bucks. Let's go as deep as the monthly. So buyers were very strong in the month of May. Let's see if June shows continuation. If we can break above 54, this thing's got a hell of a lot of upside. I want to be very mindful in saying that, though, because we are nowhere near there. I just think that that double bottom, wow, that played out super nice. Next up on UPST, I'd say we're going to probably try to test 35, 36. And then I think 40 is going to be a pretty critical area. I would love to see it come down, test support, probably here, just above 30 bucks. That's a good clean line. I would put that on your chart and keep watching there. If it can hold above 30, I think this thing definitely has some room to run. So I'm going to say UPST is definitely a smash. Please come over. Please come give me a taste of that sweet chart. For those of you that don't know, we trade live every day on Discord, or at least we're alerting every day live on Discord with trading live throughout the week. If you're not in there, the link will be scrolling across the bottom. Feel free to jump in, get the free watch list, all the free trading education, everything we offer. And the premium alerts will really get your day going right, get you set off straight. You'll know exactly when you buy and exactly when you sell. If you haven't hit the thumbs up or subscribed, do that now so that you do not miss a single live trading session or live alerts. We pop up throughout the week. You have to hit subscribe to get access to those. Once you do and hit the thumbs up, YouTube will show you us more often and you'll be notified every time we go live. So UPST absolutely gets the smash, my friends. We're going to go ahead and give Pookie some love here. What's up, baby? We're going to go ahead and look at this for you. Was that Corsair, man? Corsair Gaming computers and whatnot. Oh. Ouch. This thing was just pressing up, and that 200 day just said, no thanks. You can leave now, kind sir. But we do have trend support here. So for this one, I would say if trend continuation occurs and we could stay above 20 bucks, this one's got some upside. Does it pay a dividend? That's the question. Absolute boom from IPO. They went IPO at the right time and just absolutely dumped their bags on the rest of the world. I'm not seeing a lot of volume here. I'm going to be very honest with you. That's not that appealing to me. It's sprinkling in a little bit on the daily. And I haven't looked at the fundamentals, so I'll definitely check those first. But the weekly volume is extremely weak. I would definitely want to see more volume come in here before I take this. I'm going to say, unfortunately, for right now, this one's going to be a pass. We're going to go ahead and say Corsair. We're going to swipe left on y'all. That's a pass. Next up, Row Exotic. What's up, baby? Bumble. Very interesting one. This one really pissed me off because this was a great opportunity. This run 39 to 59, and I don't know how it didn't hold. So these charts are very nice because they have these very clear inflection or pivot points, right? So support identified, 38.94, broke down resistance. That tells you that, A, this is a critical resistance, but when price does break up above 38, it will likely function as support. We are still, woo, is this a bottom feeder? This is a lead bottom feeder selects. Ro, I would go ahead and ask Mr. Stocklock Pringles about this because this is his kind of deal. And he's also better at identifying, like he's better with the fundamentals 100% than me. And he would be the guy to really give you insight on what he likes or dislikes about this. From a chart perspective, it's a hard pass right now, but talk to him because this might be bottom bounce opportunity. This might be a nice little double bottom setup here for a buy. Now, keep in mind, you do have a confirmed new low here, but RSI did not follow. So you do have some RSI divergence there. See, RSI was down to about 25 off these lows. This is a new low, but RSI isn't really going below 35. So given that divergence, I'd say that this thing could be ripe for reversal. Talk to Mr. Stockluck Pringles about that, because I think he's going to have more insight on this. For now, I'm going to go ahead and give this one, unfortunately, I'm going to give this one a talk to Mr. Stockluck Pringles. I can't say smash, but I also can't say pass. I would say that this might be an interesting opportunity to talk to that guy about this in particular, because I do think that there is some opportunity here, but this is more of a reversal trade, and that's the guy to talk to about a reversal trade. So. Let's keep it going, man. So what else do we got? Verizon Pass. Let's see which other ones did you guys put in here. Google. By the way, if I didn't pick yours, if I passed over yours, just drop it one more time in the chat. It just got so flooded with stuff. I missed it. So if I missed it, I'm sorry. Just drop it in the chat again and we'll go through them. Let's take a quick look at Google. Google's chart is fantastic. What I want to see here is a nice little sell-off down to like 113. I've been eyeing this long-term position here for quite a while. I really need to see this thing sell off down to about 115, 116, at which point I'm going to be initiating a longer term option swing on this. It will be posted in the Discord. For those of you that are in there, make sure you get in there and get access to those alerts. If you don't have them, go to pbalerts.com. P as in Paul, B as in boy, alerts.com, and you can get access right now. Make sure you get in there so you don't miss anything this week. We have a nice channel here that I really want to see pan out. I think that Google will very much so stick to this and respect this channel. I would love to see a push up, sell off consolidation right about 115, see a little bit of buying there, see a peak, and then we're going to take our long-term position, which will pay handsomely, in my opinion. We've also got a nice little cup and handle form in there that I think will be quite tasty at the end of the day. I would say worst case scenario, this thing only comes down to about 118. But either way, I want to see about 115, 116. That's best case scenario, at which point I'll be popping that alert out in the Discord and we'll be trading this. Right now, I'm going to say Google is definitely a smash, but just a not yet. So we'll call it Future Smash, coming to a theater near you, comma soon. Future Smash, coming to a theater near you, comma, soon. Greater than? Whoa. Who else we got? All right, Rags, I already knocked out one for you. I'm going to go ahead and get Mr. Rehertzberghachs. I don't know how you say that name, but nice to meet you, my friend. Let's take a look at RCL, Royal Caribbean. The cruise liners are very interesting right now. Let's go to the monthly. Look at that. This is what interests me about like Carnival, this one, all of these vacation provider guys. Volume is thinning out, but this thing is absolutely ripping. I need to see it come down here. I do think that it's going to really bump its head. If you look right here, this is a pretty critical point right here. So in the past, breaks above, finds new high. Support, sell off, resistance. It's going to function as resistance here. The question is, where will support be? I think personally, it's going to end up being right about here. So for this one, I would love to see a rejection here, come down to about 76, 77 bucks, consolidate a little, and then you'll probably see another move up. I think it could go as high as like 115, 118 if the business continues to pick up. Again, volume here pretty significant. Look at this. This is the monthly chart, you guys. Monthly, which is a big time frame. If we go to the weekly, we could see that there was unreal volume back in 2020, right? Like this one, these were some of the most traded companies, right? And we even saw a pickup back in 2022, and then volume just absolutely disappeared for about 4 or 5 months. It looks like volume's starting to come back in, but I think we're not going to see anything meaningful until we break above 93 or so. And then we test this consolidation channel right here and see if this pans out overall. So for right now, I'm going to say that RCL, I'm going to say it's a pass for now, but it's a close watch for the future. I would keep this one tight and tender on the watch list, but right now I don't like it for a long right here because we're testing up against resistance and we very well could miss. Get a look here. Did I miss anybody? Are there any charts that we missed? Oh, I'm going to do another one for you, Rags, because I do want to look. I just want to look at this one. Robinhood. This one is coming up on some opportunity here. And Robinhood is going to expand their core business, doing in my opinion, they'll end up doing exactly what we're doing. I think they're going to start newsletters. I think they're going to start expanding their audience base. I think they're going to become a news distribution information company along with a brokerage. And I think they will inevitably be kind of like a seed for tech startups until they just consume them. I think they're basically like the Google of investment platforms of the new age, right? They can't compete with Fidelity or Schwab or any of the big boys, right? But they're a different breed. And I don't think it's the same business. Similar, but not same. And just the sheer fact that it's so easy to use means that new investors that come into the market every year for the next 20 years are going to continue to use it. So I want to see here. This one's been at the top of my watch list, you guys, because we have just been in consolidation station here. This thing has made a number of pit stops in consolidation station, right around $8. I've been buying this around below. Every time it goes below $8, I buy some, even if it's just a little bit, because it's something I have a feeling about. I have an inkling. This thing needs to break above $10. Then next resistance is 12, and then 14, then 18, then 21. This thing has, in my opinion, 75 to 100% upside if it can break above 10 and stay there. This consolidation is just insane. RSI has just been coiling for months. Let me take a quick look at what's going on with the institutional interest. I'm not entirely certain if anything has changed on the story here, but I do think that this chart is at a pretty interesting point in time. Their earnings per share this year is expected to be 70% increase. Next year expected 95%. Looks like insiders sold the rest of their shares. Institutions own about 67%. Price targets dropped to about $10. Oof. Oh, Robinhood ends support for all tokens named in SEC lawsuit. Very interesting. I need to figure out what I'm doing there because I have a lot of Cardano, I have a lot of Polygon, and I have some Solana. So I don't know what the hell to do there. I guess send it to cold storage, hope for the best. But this chart is very interesting. Keep this on the watch list. I have this on the top of my watch list for potential options trades. And I think that it is going to, Kevin, I didn't forget about you, baby. We're going to go ahead and just keep moving along because we're pressing up against time. I've never looked at this company before. Macom Tech Solutions Holdings. I have no idea what this is. Never heard of this before in my life. Give me 1 second. Let me go on here. Macom Technology Solutions Holdings. Oh, semiconductor. I like the semiconductor business. Did you just bring me a unicorn? Oh, it's trading at about its price targets. But I love, PE of 13. Fantastic quick ratio. 1,200 employees. Wow, 50% margin. That's a good business. Book to share, 1260. Cash per share, $8. Wow. 76% institutionally owned. So looks like insiders closed out the rest of their position. Question is, will this business see growth? Interesting. Ooh. Who brought me this? Who posted this? Is that Kevin K? Kevin, you just find me a gem? Found me a very interesting chart, to say the least. This chart is something else. I mean, did it run on crypto news when it ran to see, like, what was it running on in 2017, 2018? Because that's insane. And then it came all the way down to $14. So recent IPO, 2012. Sorry, this is the weekly. High of $80. This thing has just been womp through the zone. So I would say that the Head and Shoulders panned out here. I mean, we crossed the neckline at 51 and it looks like it held. Volume isn't that great though. So I will say that. So divergence on the RSI, that's a good sign. That's a simple one to look for. RSI, so price was down to 42 here, right? RSI came down to 28. Price was only down to 48 here. RSI down to 33, right? So it's not, I'm an idiot. It's not divergence. My bad. Meant to say is that it's holding its trend. It was a point of convergence. My bad. Sorry about that. I think I'm fried. But very interesting to say the least. This is an interesting one. So as far as smash or pass, this is definitely going to be a pass. Trading below the EMAs, it just crossed over. If it broke through support. So you did see a violation of the support on strong volume. If it can't hold up, I think this thing's probably going to come down to 31 bucks. Be very careful. I'm going to say pass on MTSI. Do you work there or something? What do you know about this company? I feel like this is a company I've never, ever, ever heard of in the semiconductor space. I feel like you know something that I don't. I like it. But I'm going to go ahead and say pass as of right now. Jason, of course, ULTA. That is a good one. That's an oldie but a goodie. The question here is how much will their core business struggle as a result of the decisions made by Target? Buyers seem to think it could hold here. We do have some very interesting points as this chart has some weight to it and has consolidated very well above 332. The question is it going to hold above the top of this range? So what I was expecting here, honestly, was ULTA potentially to come down to, at the very least, 375 with our 200-day EMA. We have a point of convergence there, right? So we have horizontal. So we have support on this range along with that 200 EMA and resistance test here. So I would say that I thought it was either going to come. I was hoping it would come to 373, which would be an incredible opportunity to go long-term calls and equity, as I do think that it would climb back up to 450 in the future. However, after such a massive sell-off like this, it makes it very difficult to really get a handle on this chart. But if we hold above 417, I would say favorable. This thing's favorable for continuation. It's just a matter of if and when. Now, if you do look right here, though, if we look where were buyers most active, we can see that buyers continued to buy this trend right here, especially right here. They eclipsed that selling volume immediately. So that was a smart buy. And they're holding up. So sellers came in, but buyers tried to fight them back. I think watching the next week or two is going to really tell the whole story here. The daily is not looking great, but buyers are stepping up. Now, we will have pretty significant resistance as all those EMAs crushed over. We're trading below the 200-day. Not great, but we do have support there. So support dating back to about 124.22. So dating back to January, and I would argue even farther if we really dial this. Let's take a look. How far back does that support go? So that's bottom dollar where buyers were coming in. If we go back to 2021. So ULTA, I'm going to say, unfortunately, right now, due to risk profile, ULTA is going to be a pass for me, but definitely worth a watch. All right, we're going to do this one because I want to see it. TDOC. Also, much like Robinhood, consolidation here is just fantastic. I think we really nailed this one. I'm sorry for the confusion we had on the stop loss deal. I just wanted to make sure we were taking a max risk averse approach. This thing is incredibly oversold. Again, remember, huge telehealth partnerships in accordance with United Healthcare. The Livongo acquisition was huge from a buying customer standpoint, but also buying infrastructure, tech, and business. This thing traded quite a few shares a few weeks ago, and volume is starting to pick up. It did lean to sell side. We saw a new high of 26 bucks, and then the market just gave it right back. We're trading down at about 23 now. I think as long as we hold above about 22 bucks, this thing still has potential upside. I think it still has opportunity to push back up to about 25, 30 bucks. If we get above 30, then we have a huge gap to fill to 56. Remember, this thing was trading at unbelievable premiums up to 308 back in 2020. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but I do think 90 bucks is a reasonable 3 to 5 year price target from here, should we hold up at 22 and change and nothing in the core business changes. So for those of you holding this TDOC long, I think that you definitely have some opportunity to see continuation here. And I definitely think that should that 22 and change support be validated and continue, I think we have huge, huge, Huge opportunity. RSI still pretty oversold in my opinion. Again, below 50, we can call it oversold. Above 50, we call it overbought, which means buyers are strong versus oversold. Sellers are strong. I think if RSI can hold here and we see price expansion back up, again, we want to see over 30 bucks. We've got some room here, guys. We've got some room to see at the minimum 50% on equity. No long-term options on this yet, but I do think that this is pretty interesting. Dude, I have picked like 4 years, man. What you talking about, bro? I've done like 3 or 4. You need to go back and watch this video, man. You need to scroll back. But yep, we're going to go. We have to go through this one. And again, if you missed it, I'm going to put the link one more time. If you want to get access to these alerts, this analysis is great, but when do I buy it and what should be my price target? You need to go to this link at the bottom or just go to pbalerts.com to get instant access. If you're not in there already, make sure you join right here, right now. Sign up for the free watch list. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in here because we need to look at Target real quick, and then we're going to head on out. Remember what we talked about with Target. There's a high likelihood that this thing continues downward to about 120. We looked at our long-term equity position. We started to add 126 to 129, right? Small buys at first. RSI needs to hold here above 27. If it cannot, this thing is screwed and it's going to come down to like 120, okay? At which point it's going to be dead. My goal, buy down to 120. If we get a support bounce, great. We bought the bottom. We got a lot of time ahead of us. I'd be looking at holding this for the next 10 years. If we can't hold 120, we cut it loose. We lost 5-6%. No sweat, no worry, no biggie. We move on. We do want to see a little RSI divergence here, right? So price comes down further than RSI does. So last time we saw a low of 135, RSI only came as low as about 27. If RSI can stay above 27, even though price is coming down, we get that little bit of divergence, buyers step back in. This area we're coming to, we're approaching right now at about 120. Here's what I liked about it. Here's why this made sense. Look at what buyers did last time we were in this area. They came in droves. Again, it was COVID, so we have to be mindful of that. But buyers have been filling orders from 80, then 80 to 97, and then buyers were coming in again at 104 to 120. Then buyers are coming in again at 86, and then buyers came in big again at 130 to 146. They've shown us that they are buying anywhere from 73 up to 120 and 140 even higher. So anywhere from 83 to 140 is the accumulation zone, right? So with this mass sell-off, if those same buyers come back in, we're going to see a nice support bounce here. We will buy the absolute bottom and we will make an absolute killing over the next 10 years as this thing rips back up to 200, 300 bucks. They're a good retailer with a great employee base. All right, fine. One more for Nanigans because I love that name and I love Shopify. Bada bing, Shopify, one of my best trades. Here's why. Very calculated risk reward. We bought at 30. This thing is trading at 100% up from equity. The options are up over 200%. This thing is absolutely ripping, testing resistance here. We're testing that 200 EMA. RSI is primed. Volume is coming in. This thing looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. We talked about this move before we took this play. Remember that? We talked about the last time it was trading right around 35, 40 bucks. We saw this big boom in price expansion all the way up to 70, all the way up to 84 before we sold off even a little bit. I want to see that same move. I think that we can easily push this chart to 75 plus. Those calls will be up 200-300%. Equities will be up over 100%. This is a long-term hold for me. I think Shopify is a phenomenal infrastructure business for the internet to support commercial retailers across the United States at the very least, and build small business. Everybody buys more online. Shopify is the one that facilitates. Their technology is great. Their infrastructure is great. I think their company is great. I think the leadership's great. I think the business is just a smart business to be heavily vested in at this point in time. I'm holding shares. I'm holding those options, and I'm willing to let this thing ride because I think we have a great chart here. This is a great play, great trade, very calculated, above 50 bucks. We keep going. That's where my stop is probably going to be, below 50. So I'm guaranteeing myself 75% return. Do I ever get the feeling that tomorrow is just going to be your day? I think every day can be your day. Every day can be your day. Here's the thing. It's just a matter of perspective. Even the most difficult moments can make your day if you're open enough to see them. For example, one bad trade one day where you, again, same example I've looked at a million times. I lost like what, $40,000 on Zoom options in like 2 days. I just wanted to, I didn't want to look at my trading account. I didn't want to talk to my wife. I don't want to tell anyone because it was shameful. It was a terrible trade. I mean, it was just me chasing and gambling. It was dumb after I built my account so well. And that was like one of the worst in those moments. It was one of the worst days of my life. Now, perspective, one of the best days that's ever happened in my life. Why? Because year to date, I'm up 78%. I'm trading with bigger positions. I'm building the long-term portfolio. Because of that loss, because of those mistakes, I learned my lesson. Now, if you don't learn your lesson, it's not going to be a good day. But I think bad, good, whatever you want to look at it as, I think throw those out. It's a learning opportunity. Your worst trade is your best trade as long as you learn from it. And that worst trade will be the reason you don't make it in the future. So if you're trading with $100 now, made a terrible trade, just imagine what you would do if you made that same trade with 10 grand. It would hurt a hell of a lot more. You made the mistake with trading with a little account so that when it came time to get your daddy account on, when it came time to trade with that big boy account, that 401k, you showed up and did business. But I think today, every day has the opportunity to be my day if I'm open enough to see it. My eyes are closed. I'm not going to see anything. What's up, Mr. Quick Shots? How you living, baby? Any tips on just starting day trading? Absolutely. Number one, join the Discord. I'll put the link here. We have a bunch of free education classes, and we give live alerts so that way you can see what we're trading, how we're trading it, and what techniques to use right off the bat to manage risk. If you're just starting out with trading, managing risk is more important than anything you'll ever do. Why? Because people who manage risk make money. People who manage risk live good lives. People who manage risk don't have to trade 12 hours a day. People who manage risk stay in the game. Your only goal with trading the only goal you should ever have with trading is make sure I stay in the game today. That should be it. Because guess what? If you're out of powder, if you're out of capital, you're done trading. Shredding your account is the only way you lose this game. It's a matter of staying in it. It's a war of attrition. Whoever can stay in the longest is going to win. Look at the stock market. Long term over long term, it's always gone up. Why? Because it's the vehicle through which the wealthy continue to compound interest on their money. And if you think they're going to stop, you're nuts. So why wouldn't you take that same advantage? We trade short term to add to the long term positions that take no management, right? It's just sell it, buy it. But we have a number of free day trade watch lists, a number of free trading education classes, and the live alerts. I would follow those first and foremost. I would ask questions. We have a very wonderful staff that will answer your questions. Make sure to ask them. The only way you don't get your answers is if you don't ever ask the question. Feel free to message me on there, Big Quench. I'm happy to answer whatever the hell I can. If you found us, you don't have to go through the same struggle and suffering that most people do trading. You might still anyway, but at the very least, you have access to every piece of information you're going to need to do this right. So make sure you do. But that's it. That's 8:30. I'm going to get my kids to bed. I love y'all. Stay blessed now.